What's up guys, and welcome back to another episode of the Bundesliga career mode. This is episode number 25. We start today's episode of our fixtures for August. What a tough start for Bielefeld. Dortmund and Leverkusen, both at home to be fair. And also our rivals Bochum away. For our first 3 games of the Bundesliga season, we've been asked to maintain a top 6 finish from here on out minimum. And that's pretty tough beginning for Bielefeld, isn't it? We'll be tested right out of the blocks this season. But after signing 5 players in the last episode, and most of which on free transfers, in fact all apart from Middlestat on free transfers, I continue the trend to start August off. Jens Kastrop, released in the summer, 20 years old. I found him in the promising tab of my global transfer network scouting. 64 rated, and he shows great potential as well. Looks very good in playing through the middle, but also potentially could play as a winger in this team. So Kastrup comes in, he'll replace Cherney, who we've just sold. I never used this guy, 20 years old, 62 overall. Wouldn't have had as much potential as Kastrup, and he's lower rated as well. So yeah, for a little swap deal there and getting a little bit of money on the side too, I'm not going to say no there, as the new signings continue with Arminia Bielefeld. So yeah, for our first season in Europe this year, I'm obviously not going to neglect our domestic football this year. And to reach the last 16 of the DFB Pokal, which is where we got to last season, and to finish in the top 6. You know, I've got to be honest, every single season when I go into a new year, I always downplay my expectations. You know, you guys know me. I'm always like, oh, well, you know, Europa League, I'll take it. But I've got to be honest here, man. I really like this team. You know, it's shaping up really nicely. We've got some fantastic young talent here. You know, 3 players out of the academy that are regular starters now. Schuster between the sticks, Ludwig, who was incredible last season, also Konstantin Schäfer as well. If their development really kicks on this season, all I'll say is this: I'm really excited about the potential of what we can do this year. And top 4, I've got to say, why not? You know, last season, we only missed out on the final day. Why not Champions League football next year? This time, I'm changing. I want to be brave instead of just saying, well, you know, I'll take Europa Conference League. No, I'm going to be brave this year and go for it. But if we are going to do that, we need scouts. And for our first game of the season, Borussia Dortmund, we took the lead inside the first 10 minutes. Bit of a howler as Okugawa turned in the rebound after a spilled shot, made it 1-0. And then 20 minutes in, oh, he's recovered, baby. He went down towards the end of the last season with the broken toe. I'm not going to say that's what stopped us qualifying for the Champions League, but there's no doubt about it. Jamie Llewellyn, top scorer for us last year, second highest scorer in the Bundesliga. After he broke his toe, we knew from that moment on it was going to be a real challenge for us to get into the top 4, but Llewellyn recovered right towards the end of last season, officially starts this season off with a goal on the opening day, and we're 2-0 up against Dortmund. And again, I was really brave in this game as well. I really went at Dortmund, despite them having a lot more quality. I just put my sword to them in this game. Just thought, you know what, I'm not going to be intimidated anymore. No way, we're a club on the rise. We might be 4-star, but I think we'll turn 4.5-star during this season. And I always say that, put up a fight, do your best against the big teams in an RTG, because at some point there'll be a moment where you realise you can't just be competitive, but you can beat them. And we did. Our first victory over Dortmund in this series, 2-0 the final score. Konstantin Schäfer ran the show through the middle of the park, including that fabulous assist for our second goal, which Llewellyn scored. 2-0 on Dortmund, a clean sheet with Kehrer making his debut as well. I've got to say, that was absolutely perfect from Arminia Bielefeld, and this is what we're going to need to do this season as well. We have to be a team that is brave, and in those big games, in those big clashes against the big teams, look, I said a moment ago, why can't we be a top 4 team? There's no reason we can't be. I mean, again, you look at this team and you think about the age of this side as well. It's such a young team. And I always say that. You've got to remember that. When you've got like a really young team, you've got to think about how your team's going to look, not just at the start of the season, but midway through and towards the end as well, because it's going to get better. During the year, all your players are going to develop. All your players are going to get better. They're all going to increase in their attributes. You're going to get better. So this Bielefeld side is already good. It's already good enough to compete for a top 4 finish. Come the end of the season, I've got no doubt in my mind we've definitely got a good enough team to battle with and get in there ourselves. And for our second game of the season, our rivals Bochum away, first away day. Llewellyn missed a sitter early on. I don't know how on earth I missed a target from close range, but he wasn't going to miss twice. 38 minutes in, just think that broken toe still bother him? No, absolutely not. 2 goals in 2 for Jamie Llewellyn, not missing a step on his return, and we're 1-0 up away against Bochum. They should have found a leveler right before the break. An absolutely awful slice shot from just inside the area, which failed to test just to kept it at 1-0. However, Bochum did show the warning signs were there. They were going to get chances in the second half as well, and 64 minutes in, Holtman connects with a great through ball, drills it past Schuster, and fires the host back on level terms. So it's 1-1 away in Bochum, and I was thinking, come on, man, like, if we're going to be a top 4 team, we can't beat the likes of Dortmund and then draw away against Bochum. No disrespect. So with just over 10 minutes to go here, still tied at 1-1. We needed to win this game, even on match day 2. The pressure's so high if you want to be a top 4 team. And from kicking out with Schuster, we work our way forward. And I'm really liking the fact that this guy is embracing his role as a bench impact sub striker. Florian Kruger came off the bench for Tyler Carrot. I made a tactical change towards the end of the game, switch around normal 4-2-3-1 to a 4-1-2-1-2 wide, so I can play with 2 men up top. Kruger comes off the bench, scores the game winner, and I love it as well, man. You know, after his ACL in season 1, he had, I think it was 7 goals and 18 in the first season. I kept on saying this guy was going to be our star, but instead, it's turned into Jamie Llewellyn. But Kruger is embracing his role as a backup striker and an impact sub. I could not ask for more for Florian. But following the win, we had the draw for the Europa League group stage, where in our first year in European football, Arminia Bielefeld have got Valencia, Rosenborg, and Dundalk in Group A. This is a bit of a weird bit of trivia here, but I don't think I've ever been drawn in Group A in the Europa League before. It's bizarre to actually be in the first group, but anyway, first group, we're in it. We've got the Spanish side, the Norwegian side, and also the Irish side as well. So Dundalk, Rosenborg, and Valencia, and I fancy our chances of getting out of that as well. No disrespect to Dundalk, I think they'll be the weakest side in the group, and if we can get through Rosenborg, I think we'll qualify. Valencia, no doubt about it, they're the firm favourites to top it, but definitely qualification, there's no doubt about it. We should be getting through that group, in my opinion, with our good side. Even in our debut year of Europe, we've got the quality, we've got the depth now as well. I think we should be able to get through that group there. So following that, we saw that Sarah, our third choice striker now, had his release clause met by Southampton, and it's a low release clause as well. I didn't notice it. I probably should have extended the contract in the summer, but Sarah looks as though he's on his way to England and going to St Mary's on the south coast. It's a low release clause, to be fair, so it's a bit of a bargain for Southampton, really, but you would have seen what a player conversation there. He said he doesn't see his future here anymore and he wants to leave. So what I was going to do was just extend the contract, because when a player's release clause gets met, you can then extend the contract and then the bid goes because you take out the release clause. Having said that, I think for realism, because Sarah said he wants to leave, he doesn't see a future here, he's a third choice striker, doesn't get much game time either. I think for realism, I'm going to let him go. I know I could just extend the contract and that gets rid of the release clause bid, getting met by Southampton, but I think for realism, he said he wants to leave, so I'm going to let him go. Sarah off to the south coast. But to be fair, I'm okay with that. Llewellyn's back on form. First 2 games of the season, already 2 goals. Kruger's got one off the bench as well. I think we'll be okay. And we still got enough money for another striker if we want to bring one in. So our third and final game of today's episode on the back of brilliant wins against Dortmund and Bochum away. Bayer Leverkusen here at the Schuko. And unfortunately, this was the game where I was like, okay, I've been talking very ambitiously about my hopes of being a top 4 team. Well, let's be honest, we're not quite at this level yet. I know we beat Dortmund on the season opener, but oh my god, this was a game where I could have been battered like 4 or 5-0. Macias scored 2 in this game. He bagged a brace against me. They could have gone 3-0 up through Martinelli. Schuster made a great save in the first half, but really, this is one of those games where I remembered that, okay, alright, we're getting better, we're making great progress, but we're still far from where we want to be. We lost the game in the end by 2 goals to 0. Leverkusen with the win, our first defeat of the season. Listen, 2 wins from 3 is not a bad start when you include Dortmund and Leverkusen in our first 3 games. That's not bad whatsoever, but this was a game where I was brought back down to earth. If you want to be a top 4 team, these are the teams you got to beat. Yeah, I did not stand a chance in this game. Torn apart, comfortably beaten, no doubt about it. And whilst I am very ambitious, and I do believe Champions League football is a possibility, we still got a long way to go until we are where we want to be. Not a bad start though, 2 wins in 3, and I guess I'll take that for a beginning entertaining. But I will end today's episode of the Bundesliga Career, guys. Big thank you for watching. Really hope you enjoyed. Drop a like. Most love to you all. Have a fantastic day, and I'll see you for the next episode featuring transfer deadline day with 23 million still remaining in the budget. What are we going to do on deadline day? I'm still not sure. Big signing, couple of squad players. I guess we'll wait and see. Have a great day, much love, and I'll see you for the next episode very soon.